Causes of the Great War. Militarism. As the 20th century began, an arms race to become the most powerful countries began. By 1914, Germany's military power had increased significantly and became as powerful as Great Britain's military, and they had both greatly increased their navy. At the same time, Great Britain had created the first fully automatic weaponry, giving them an advantage in this arms race. Alliances. Throughout Europe, alliances were formed into two very important ones during this period. The Triple Entente was conformed by France, Great Britain, and Russia, and the Triple Alliance, conformed by Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. These alliances meant that if a country was attacked, the Allies will back them up, which meant going into war with not only one country, but with all their allies. This eventually caused a domino effect when they started declaring war on each other.
Of 1882 linked Germany, Austria-Hungary and Italy. The Triple Entente of 1907 linked France, Britain and Russia.
Imperialism. Imperialism is an ideology where countries increase their power and wealth by increasing their territories. The conflict was mainly for parts of Asia and Africa to provide raw materials for each empire. This desire for greater and powerful empire pushed declarations of war that began the Great War or World War I. Nationalism. Nationalism was based mainly on the desire of Slavic people to become part of Serbia and divide from Bosnia and Herzegovina. In a more general way, the nationalism of many European countries contributed to the beginning of the war because each country had the desire or the need to prove their dominance power over other countries. And by doing so, they applied their own ideologies and tried to impose them into other countries. Assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. This was the event that triggered the first declarations of war and mainly World War I. In June 1914, the Serbian nationalist group called Black Hand planned his assassination. This led to Austria-Hungary to declare war on Serbia, and then Serbia's ally, Russia, declared war on Austria-Hungary, then leading to Germany, Austria-Hungary's ally, to declare war on Russia for attacking Austria-Hungary, triggering a domino effect by causing the alliances to declare war on the allies of their opponent, and so on.
The Great War was the first truly modern war. This is said because it was fought with weapons like automatic guns and gases such as the mustard gas. It was also characterized by trench warfare, in which opposing armies would dig sophisticated trenches in order to provide themselves cover. The open space between the oppository trenches was called no man's land. This was a highly dangerous area. The soldiers would spend weeks and months living underground. It was also the first war that used airplanes and tanks. It is clearly seen how mechanized and trench warfare are the main characteristics of the Great War.
Choices made and goals sought in the creation of the Treaty of Versailles. The main goal to achieve was the end of World War I by accomplishing another of the goals, which was the reduction of weapons in society, and making every country a part of the League of Nations, which was the first attempt of a UN. The Treaty of Versailles mostly sought for peace between the nations. Unfortunately, by ending World War I, it also started World War II.
Germany had to pay war reparations, and because of this, the country was in debt. The army was reduced to 100,000 soldiers, and Germany had to give some of its land to different countries of Europe. If the government has complete and absolute power over the people, that's totalitarianism. It's a form of government which started in Europe in the early 20th century. People living under this type of regime generally also support it thanks to propaganda that is designed to promote a positive view of their government.
The Great Depression from 1929 to 1939 was a period of economic collapse in the United States. This event began developing after the First World War, when the United States loaned billions of dollars to Germany to help it recover the war reparations. Internally, the United States banks were giving credit for the first time. There were three major problems. First, the credit users were borrowing much more than what they could have afforded. Second, the loan to Germany created a debt vicious cycle between different countries in Europe and the United States. Third, the stock market was giving shares on margins. Those three issues together caused a massive loss of money during the collapse, which most significant day was the Black Tuesday, and a crisis that ended with a lot of people's unemployment. During around a decade, many of these people had no other option but to live in a Hoover Hills and wait. As consequence, the United States President Franklin Roosevelt changed the participation of the government in economics, from economic liberalism to a more social secure politics. Furthermore, this crisis had an effect on lots of countries around the world. For example, France, where it lasted for much more but wasn't so strong, and Mexico, where the government implemented a new import substitution system after it.
И эти люди, лишенные совести и чести, люди с моралью животных, имеют наглость призывать к уничтожению великой русской нации. Немецкие захватчики хотят иметь истребительную войну с народом СССР. Что же, если немцы хотят иметь истребительную войну, они ее получат.
Two causes for the creation of the Soviet Russia, or Soviet Union, created in December 29, 1922, in a conference that approved the treaty for the creation of the USSR, ruling the ideology of fascism for the seek for a pure race between the called Slavs, which are the members of this state in multiple countries, and also the seek for a centralized and more stable economy and society, being communism the main ideology.
Russia is located on the eastern part of Europe. The history of the Soviet Union between 1927 and 1953 covers a period in the Soviet history from establishment of Stalinism under the rule of Joseph Stalin.
Joseph Stalin was born in December 8 of 1878 in Gori, Georgia. Stalin's parents were poor. Because of this, Stalin had a rough childhood. He attended the seminary to become a priest. However, he was expelled. After the seminary, he joined the Bolsheviks. He had amazing skills that took him to become one of Lenin's top leaders. After Lenin's death, in 1924, Stalin took over as sole leader of the Soviet Union. He industrialized and turned Russia into a superpower. Though he is seen as one of the most brutal leaders in the history of the world. At the beginning of World War II, he signed an alliance with Adolf Hitler. Hitler betrayed him and attacked Russia. Thus, he became an ally of Britain and the United States. He created the Gulag system of forced labor camps. Just like the Nazis, he would have a secret police to spy on the citizens, and anyone who opposed him was sent there. He finally died on March the 5th of 1953 in Kuntsevo, Dhaka, near Moscow. Some interesting facts are that his real name was Joseph Vissarionovich Dujevskovili. He got Stalin from combining steel and Lenin. He also invented his birth date to be the 21st of December of 1879.